The Eternal Now, a comprehensive analysis of Eckhart Tolle's philosophy, impact, and philosophical critique. I. Introduction and contextual foundation. A. The phenomenon of the power of now, publication history and cultural footprint. Eckhart Tolle's foundational work, The Power of Now, A Guide to Spiritual Enlightenment, represents a defining text in contemporary Western spirituality and the self-help movement. The book's journey from niche publication to global phenomenon reveals a significant trend in the modern search for inner peace. Initially published in 1997 by Namaste Publishing, the book gained wider distribution through reprints by New World Library in 1999 and 2010. The commercial metrics underscore the book's profound cultural penetration. It achieved status as a New York Times bestseller, with estimated sales reaching 3 million copies in North America by 2009. Worldwide, sales have exceeded 16 million copies, and the work has been translated into over 30 languages. This exponential growth, a movement from a specialized spiritual guidebook to a mass-market blockbuster, was catalyzed by key mainstream endorsements. Specifically, the strong recommendation provided by influential figures like Oprah Winfrey was instrumental in boosting the book's popularity, cementing its place as a cornerstone of contemporary mindfulness teachings. The book is classified under diverse categories including self-help, personal growth, happiness, body, mind and spirit, mindfulness and meditation, spirituality, philosophy, and psychology. The framing of complex mystical concepts within accessible self-help categories ensured its appeal across a broad spectrum of seekers and readers. B. The genesis of the teachings. Eckhart Tolle's spiritual awakening. The philosophical framework presented in The Power of Now is deeply rooted in the author's personal experience of spiritual awakening. Tolle developed the text following a life-altering transformation that occurred when he was 29 years old. This shift was not prompted by external difficulties but by a state of profound inner unhappiness resulting from incessant, self-defeating thought patterns. The transformative event involved a radical realization of the separation between the thinking mind, the persistent voice in the head, and his true essence, which he identified as pure consciousness. This spontaneous disidentification from thought led to an immediate experience of peace beyond thought, irrespective of his external circumstances. This concept, that true peace arises when one stops identifying with the mind and instead rests in the stillness of awareness, became the foundation of his work. This origin story, a spontaneous, transcendental cure for suffering, confers a powerful sense of spiritual authority upon the author. This derived authority, based on personal revelation, is often what leads readers to interpret his teachings as authoritative truth, rather than merely one philosophical perspective. The teachings themselves are syncretic, blending elements drawn from various spiritual traditions, including Buddhism, mysticism, and Christianity, often described as a New Age reworking of Zen. This blending of Eastern wisdom traditions with Western psychological terminology makes the philosophy highly relatable to a modern audience, but also opens it up to rigorous critique regarding conceptual fidelity, as will be discussed in later sections. C. Structure and stylistic approach, accessibility and practicality. The Power of Now is presented as a spiritual guidebook intended to lead readers toward enlightenment by offering immediately actionable practices. The overall objective is to describe methods, such as relaxation and meditation, that help readers anchor themselves firmly in the present moment. Practical suggestions include concrete behavioral changes, such as slowing down, actively avoiding multitasking, and consciously spending time in nature. The structure and tone emphasize accessibility, utilizing a dialogue-like format in many instances to simplify complex concepts related to consciousness and psychological functioning. 2. The tripartite framework of suffering and salvation. Tolle constructs a sophisticated, yet accessible, framework for understanding human suffering rooted in three interlinked concepts: the mind-ego, the pain-body, and presence the now. A. The nature of the mind and psychological time, the illusion of control. The fundamental source of human emotional difficulty, according to Tolle, is the individual's deep-seated identification with their mind. The mind, when left unchecked, creates what the author terms psychological time. This phenomenon involves dwelling on the past, leading to feelings such as guilt, regret, and grievance, or projecting into the future, which generates stress, tension, and worry. The insistence that one possesses ultimate control over the stream of life is deemed an illusion fostered by the mind, which inevitably leads to emotional pain. The mind's operative structure, the ego, is designed to perpetuate this dysfunction. The ego ensures its survival by holding on to the past to maintain a sense of identity, and by continually projecting into the future. For the ego, the present moment scarcely exists. Furthermore, the majority of the ego's output, estimated at 80 to 90% of most people's thinking, is repetitive, useless, dysfunctional, and inherently harmful. B. The mechanism of the ego and the pain body (PB). The ego is defined as the false identity created by the individual's identification with their thought patterns. A crucial extension of this concept is the pain body (PB). The pain body is a dense, autonomous negative energy field that accumulates from all unresolved emotional suffering and pain experienced throughout life. This, trapped life energy, becomes lodged within the mind and physical body, acting as an entity that periodically activates to compel the individual toward renewed suffering. The pain body sustains itself because individuals continue to identify with it, allowing it to dictate emotional states such as rage, resentment, dark moods, impatience, or depression. Tolle's framework posits a stark energy dynamic. The pain body is parasitic, capable only of feeding on pain and finding joy, quite indigestible. C. The power of presence, the observer, the watcher, and being. The antidote to the dominance of the ego and the tyranny of the pain body is presence, defined as living fully in the now. Presence is the state of non-identification with the continuous dialogue of the mind. This state of being anchors the individual in their true, eternal self, which Tolle refers to as the dimension of being. The emphasis is placed entirely on the current moment, which is identified as the only reality that is truly real and holds any power or creative potential. Enlightenment, within this model, is characterized as rising above thought, resulting in inner stillness and the ability to use the thinking mind only for practical, focused purposes. The key mechanism for achieving this liberation is the concept of the watcher or witness. The watcher is described as the pure consciousness, the true self, that is separate from the thoughts it observes. By shifting awareness from the thought form to the observing presence, the individual withdraws consciousness from the mental formations. This process allows the consciousness, the watcher, to grow stronger while the mental formations, including the pain body, grow weaker. Tolle asserts that if the individual observes the pain body without judgment, it loses its capacity to control thinking and its energy ultimately dissolves. The relationship between these three mechanisms can be summarized. Tolle's conceptual trinity: mind, pain, and liberation.